Hello. I am not feeling 100% currently today. Um, but I have my tea, and it's Tulsi cardamom, which is nice. And it has lots of honey in it. So we have our support in the form of nourishment. And today I was called to start the process of cleaning all of my altars, which is 5 of them officially, not including my desk here and my plant altar over here, which is definitely where I do a lot of my work, as you can see, the candle and my so six. I started with Santisma Muerte, which I don't talk about a lot, my work with her, but I've found to be like the most important that I've had is this journey alongside Santa Muerte. Like, I have this reverence for her and for death and for like life, and how, because she permeates all things, and I feel like I don't talk about it a lot. I don't know, but I love her. And so I started with her altar, and I was called to bring her in for this reading, or at least just kind of like bring her in for this video to share with y'all kind of more personally what I do and who my deities are and who I am a devotee of. And of course I did say that I would bring in the fairies today to see. I just realized that this is perfect because yesterday I posted about this reading is going to be about like what are the last things that we kind of need to do to wrap up for the season before the calendar new year, right? The new calendar year. So what I have for that is, I've gotten some intuitive feelings, from my spirit, where it's just like there's a superstition. I'm going all over the place today because I feel I'm not 100%. So there's and you can't see me, that's fine. My plants are more important. Take a look at those. Chill with the candle over here. So back to what I was saying. There's a superstition around New Year's Day that like one should not wash their clothes, one should not do laundry, or basically do any kind of cleaning, sweep the floors, none of that, because it is sweeping away the good. You are washing away your good luck for the new year. So what I am doing personally this year is I'm wanting to make sure that I do a lot of my cleaning before New Year's Eve, which means this following week I will be doing my cleaning. And I realized that I've cleaned up my altars a little bit, I've like moved stuff around, but I haven't done my thing that I like to do, where I take every single piece down from the altar and I clean every little bit that I can. I cleanse the crystals, I wipe down the offerings or the totems that I have with vinegar water or rose water or orange water or some kind of either like a holy cleansing water or vinegar, which like shout out to vinegar because we love her. So we're doing that, and I'm realizing just like how important it is to me, that cleaning process, because like for me, cleaning has always been tied into my spirituality. One of the messages that I received while I was cleaning my altar earlier is that like me personally, we will be going through multitudes of deaths next year. And as it is for the individual, so it is for the whole. So just be aware of that, right? Like the tide is turning, things are changing, and we are going to be asked to make radical shifts in the way that we live in order to align with our morals and values for real, like in our actions, like showing that willingness through action. So that's just something to think about. And yeah, cleaning house quite literally before New Year's Day, and making sure your ancestors are fed, and that you are checking in with yourself, that you are checking in with the people that you love. These are all like parts of my educating yourself. These are all parts of like my goals for this year. And I wanted to share with you also like creating a game plan and creating accountability for yourself and with others, right? So that's what we're doing this upcoming year, and it's a strength year. So I believe that we are going to have to pull together, and I believe that we are going to pull together with our own strength and with each other, and like taming the beast, right? Like putting your hand in the mouth of the beast and trusting that you will be okay. And I think that for me speaks to changing the way that we behave, changing the way that we interact with each other, changing the way that we interact with the world at large. Because we can't live like this anymore, and we can't like allow a genocide to happen, because then who's to say? I'm not trying to like scare you, I'm just saying like this is happening right now, right? And like if we as the people are to say, okay, well, that's fine, like I can't look at that because it's too heavy, that's not gonna fly, that's not gonna work, because then like moving on. I will have better words for this later, but I'm trying to be aware of like the fact that I am on a public platform, and like I don't like want to speak for us as a whole. I feel a little sick, like not just feeling like I'm getting sick right now, but like I feel a little sick when I talk about this, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, is like for me, I'm just going to talk about my experience. For me, like getting through that and getting over that and getting over myself and like working through that feeling sick. Let me tell you. So I practice Muay Thai, right? And I haven't gone. I didn't go for a month and a half. I didn't go since Halloween. And last Thursday, so a couple days ago, I went, and one second, because I dropped some cards on the floor. So I didn't go because uh, I was scared. And then, like, for a while, I wasn't going still because I was scared. And then the last time I went, I like worked my butt off. I didn't eat anything, which was a problem. And, within the last 2 minutes of the hour-long class, I threw up. And since I did that, I'm like, okay, well, there's no excuse for me to not go anymore because I've already gone through this experience that was difficult and unpleasant and embarrassing. So I have no excuse. I can't say, like, to myself, oh, I'm scared, what's going to happen? Because I've already, and I was getting my ass beat right before that happened, okay? Like, so it's like humility. There's going to be a lot of humility. And it's going to feel sickening. And we're going to have to swallow these really hard pills that are like looking at how we have been behaving, looking at how, like, for me, like, looking at how I have turned turn my view away. Like, I'm, like, not looking at things because they're too difficult and I have my own shit to deal with, don't you know? And it's like, so what? We all do. And there's something bigger than that happening right now. And, like, it's our time, okay? Oh my gosh. Okay, this card that fell, my camera froze. There's Gatorade. Mercury in the Gatorade. So this freaking card that fell is called the King of Skates, and it says lack of help, distractions, self-centeredness, okay? Like, look at this. This motherfucker is just like, whatever, dealing with his own thing. He's literally has one eye closed, okay? And this other person is drowning. And this dude is just like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I got my own stuff going on. I got my own spiritual journey that I'm on, and it totally doesn't have anything to do with you or the collective or helping, because this is just me. It's just about me. What was I literally just saying? Like, it's not about you. Sorry. Like, there's other stuff going on. And then this card was flipped over. It was turned upside down, like, fell. So hidden. So this is like stuff that we're not looking at. The Dreamer. Sleep, dreams, visions, inspiration. Like, this is what is unseen. This is what I think, like, especially as somebody who was born and raised in the United States, like, this is something that we don't see often, is that dream of a new reality, the possibility that things could be different on a social, global level. And, like, we're not taught these things. We're intentionally taught a, like, whitewashed version of the civil rights movements. Yeah, movements, plural, right? Like, we're only taught, like, that there was one, and it was, like, MLK was peacefully sat and peacefully boycotted, and then was like, I have a dream, which was a speech that he recanted later. And then our government killed him. So it's like, so I digress. I'm on one today, apparently. The Dreamer. This is what we're not seeing, right? We're not seeing the dream. We're not looking at the inspiration, right? That's what's going to drive us. And we're going to have to practice some humility. And that was the first card that I pulled, is this King of Vessels. And one of the things that it says on the bottom is humility. It says, a fair man, humility, gathering blessings through work. Gathering blessings through work. Which is what I just started off the video talking about, right? Like, this is going to be a year of a lot of work and humility and practicing, like, really showing up presently and, like, not checking out anymore, not feeding into those distractions anymore, not giving in to self-centeredness. We're really being called to, like, look at our shit and swallow our pride and move forward. So we also have ascent of the blessed, rebirth, recognition, assistance, promotion. So it's like, I'm seeing this, like, this is here. Like, we get this fruition. We get a blessing. We are blessed by doing the work. And our work is blessed. Like, I know Patrice Washington, who has Redefining Wealth podcast, and, like, she has a prayer that she says, Lord, bless my effort. And that's, like, that's the shit that I am on currently, right? Like, I want to show up and get my hands dirty and then wash my hands and make sure that they are clean and then get them dirty again and then be like, oh shit, my hands are dirty, I gotta wash them. Like, you understand? Does that, I don't know if that even connects, but, like, we get to apply ourselves. We get to reapply ourselves. This year was kind of about, like, centering and looking at, like, what our values are and aligning ourselves with those values. And, like, it was more like mental and spiritual. And now, well, it's honestly not even, it was like emotional and spiritual. And now we're in this mental and physical, like, okay, now we get to put our minds and bodies to work. And this is what I'm talking about, like, reading books, educating ourselves, communicating with people, reaching out, building community, practicing humility, and understanding that we as individuals cannot make it successfully without each other, because we are a social creatures, we're social beings. So that's me talking a lot. And I'm tired, man. I get it. Like, I am tired. And I don't necessarily want to do the work. I want to sleep and rest. And guess what? That is also a part of it. Like, that's why we need each other. That's why we need a solid crew behind us, right? Because we do need to rest. But that can't be our mode of operations. Modus operandi. I don't fucking know. I'm not very smart, honestly. And that's okay. Because I know a lot of other people who are very smart. And I have intuition. And I am smart in a lot of different ways. And smart is a social construct anyway. That's arbitrary. Anyway, what am I talking about? I'm talking about we need other people so that while we rest, there are still people doing the work. And then once we are rested, we get and ready to get up and do the work and willing to show up and do the work, then the people who have been doing it can fucking rest. You get it? Like, the way that we were built as a species, like, biologically, like, there's always somebody awake at night to protect the tribe or the family that's sleeping. There are those people. That's what I'm talking about. So that was Hieronymus Bosch tarot, which I always want to be like Hieronymus. Hieronymus is what I'm saying. I'm not smart, but people give me so much grace and tell me I'm smart, and I'm like, you. Okay. Oh, we have unexpected visitors in reverse. Hieronymus. This is the Enchanted Map Oracle deck. We have listening in reverse. Interesting. The unexpected visitors in reverse and listening in reverse is what I'm kind of getting from that is like we're not being heard or seen as a people. Like unexpected visitors, I kind of getting like this is like we have like Alice, right? Alice and the white rabbit there. But it was in reverse, so it's kind of like the people who we need to see our perspective are not seeing it, and they're not hearing it. They're not listening. Like, they're in this King of Skates, selfish, self-centered mode. And they don't want to listen. And they don't want unexpected visitors. They just want the status quo to be quo. They just want it all to be the same. Into the unknown. Okay, this is what I'm talking about with the Dreamer card, right? The Dreamer card, the Ascent of the Blessed. Like, we are going to change things. We have the capability to change things. And it's going to be scary. And we're going to have to swallow our pride. And we're going to have to practice humility. And we're not going to know, which is why we need to educate ourselves. Why we need to learn about previous and different ways of life, right? Like, I would love to be reading up on what I can do and build on my strengths and, like, make my weaker parts stronger and, like, practice humility. Again, this humility is just coming up so much. Like, trying something new is always a risk, and it's always scary, and it is almost always fucking worth it, because either it's really cool and works out and really clicks and is difficult and challenging and, like, keeps me engaged and not complacent, or it's a learning opportunity. And I can learn, like, hey, that's not for me. And then I'm closer to knowing what is for me and what works. I tried so many different, I bought 2 different planners and was, like, trying to figure out, like, how to organize and set goals and, like, make sure that I'm holding myself accountable for the next year. And then I remembered that I have already this way of journaling that I learned over the lockdowns that was really super helpful for me. And so I'm doing that, and I'm like, oh yeah, because sometimes I go off course and then I'm like, I forget, and then I remember. Sometimes I forget and then I remember. Goblins reversed. Don't let them get to you. Don't let your goblins be in charge. Don't let the shitty committee in your head run how you show up. Like, fear is a thing, and when we walk through it and continue on in the right direction, it feels really good and almost better when there's fear. There's, like, learning. in that. I'm talking a lot about where we're headed next year and not so much about what we need to like tie up the loose ends of, right? But I think this is just what's being called. Like, it's time to like clean up our shit and take a look at what is no longer serving us, what is keeping us in complacency, what is keeping us lazy, what is keeping us isolated from deeper connections with more people than just your partner. Like, what relationships are we valuing? Really taking a look at that. The relationships we're valuing, the things that we value, and then like where our time is actually going and where our money is going. So if you say you value something, like me, for instance, this is me fucking practicing humility, right? So if I say I value keeping like the immune compromised and our elders and younger people and pregnant people safe, and I'm not wearing a mask when I'm sick, or I go to a big large gathering or the airport and I'm not wearing a mask, I get to take a look at that and correct it and practice humility and just put a mask on and test regularly. And we have Ilbe Cheever, which is wild. This guy shows up for me often. This guy shows up for me so often. So we have Ilbe the Retriever, and what he does is he takes things for us, and then he holds them, large or small. It could be dreams that you once had that you had forgotten about or left behind, and he takes them and he holds them for us, and then he gives them back to us when the time is right. It could be a connection that you had, someone from your past, or some ideals that you held when you were younger and then felt beaten down, and now he's ready to give them back to you, or you know that he's holding onto them. And it could be your keys. Sometimes he just takes some things because he wants us to be more present in what's happening, and we're like going around about our business, not super present, just busy and distracted. And he's like, I'm gonna keep this so that once you're looking for it, then you're kind of in the present moment, right? Like, it's kind of like, hey, slow down, be aware of your surroundings. So he's a little trickster. He'll be moving stuff around that you could have swore you put elsewhere, but you found it in the bathroom for some reason. And Geo the Slow. Oh, this isn't Geo the Slow. Sorry. I didn't look at it before. This is Ike the Iomancer. He looks kind of like Geo. Ike the Iomancer. I was like, oh, I wonder if Geo's in here. Oh, no, Geo's not in here, but Death is in here. She was reversed. And again, I'm thinking of that, like the cleaning out. Oh my god, and Ike the Iomancer is 42, which is the, that's the answer to the question. We have Penelope Dreamweaver. Again with the dreams. Dreamweaver. Epona's wild daughter.
with the owl there for our wisdom and intuition. And Tayton the Sylph, who is one of the cards that I brought up when I was wanting to channel just like certain energy for this YouTube channel specifically. I'm gonna look up Ike the Iomancer because my truth is some of the Fae I am very familiar with. They have been walking with me for a long time, and they come up to say hello to me often, and others do not. Others don't work with me very often, and so when I'm reading for other people, they will come up because it's like stuff that I'm not familiar with because I'm reading for a vast array of people. So Ike the Iomancer, there are these leaves and there are faces hidden in the leaves. There are little sprites and spirits hiding and winking behind him, and he's chilling. He's chilling. Oh my god, I was trying to go to Ike the Iomancer, but then I was on Ilbe the Retriever on accident. It's 41, and then Ike the Iomancer is 42. That's kind of wild that I pulled 41 and then 42 immediately after. Because I shuffle. I be shuffling. Anyway. Oh, it's Mike. Mike the Myomancer. My apologies. My apologies, Mike. As you can see, this font is a little difficult to read sometimes, which is so Fae. It's like we're shifting, we're changing. You can't fully read us. Like, even though I have an intuitive understanding and like a relationship with these fairies, like they're never going to show their whole selves to us. And like this book was written by like multiple people, and we're still never really going to know the full thing. There's always going to be a little sleight of hand, because that's what working with the Fae is. Okay, I digress. Small clues, details, the messages everywhere, and patience. The Myomancer reads the past, present, and potential of all beings in the movements of mice. Mike is particularly fond of reading the movements of field mice, as they are livelier and better fed than church mice. Mike could learn the same things by reading berries, or the patterns made by fallen leaves, or any one of a billion other things, but his specialty is mice. He can learn endless things from the way they twitch their whiskers and hold their tails. He sees hidden information in the patterns of growth and coloration in their fur, the way the wind rumples it, and how they preen themselves. Little things can tell us a lot. Everything bears messages about the universe around us. Studying the details sometimes enables us to deduce the whole. The entire universe, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like educating ourselves, like learning the bits and pieces of history and like the smaller movements and how they worked, and like also like the interactions of each other within our own little community, and like within our interpersonal lives, and how we show up and how that affects everything globally, and how that affects like how we are coming up with our dreams, and how we are living our truth and living our authenticity and living our values, and like engaging with each other. The entire universe is one piece, and each fragment of that one unity reflects and is connected to all the others. That famous philosopher, Anonymous, once said, "The lifting of a finger disturbs the farthest star." Mike says it works the other way around too. He advises us to make a slow and observant study of the little things and their even smaller details in the world around us. He says that such a study not only helps us enhance our understanding of life, unity, and everything, but it also helps to develop a joyful patience and a deeper philosophy. Attention to details is important at this time. Little things are not only important in themselves, but they also give you important information about larger things. Look for the inner hidden meaning in ordinary objects, happenings, and experiences. Life is trying to teach you something by speaking to you gently. With luck and application, you will get the message before it has to speak to you more loudly. Body language in humans as well as mice may give you very useful information at this present time, especially if you learn to read it properly. The clues to the answer you seek and the things you need to know are all around you. You are surrounded by omens, portents, and signs, but the signs are not written on billboards in large letters. They are in the small happenings of your life. Be awake and aware. Hint: if you work out what the question really is, it is much easier to recognize the answer when it comes. I think that's so funny that this is what they wrote down for the meaning of this card and the interpretation, as it is the number 42, and how that relates to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the answer to life, the universe, and everything being 42. Like, what is the answer to the question? Well, what's the question, right? So, and Geo the Slow is number 43. So, we're getting there. Things are connecting, okay? I won't bring him in right now because we already have patients in here. But things happen slowly over time. And we have death, Mama Muerte, but she is reversed. Important change is being blocked or delayed by clinging to old habits or things, and therefore the changes that need to happen appear to be difficult or forced upon us. This unwillingness to let go. This unwillingness to let go of old identities, of old behavioral patterns, right? Of old ideas and beliefs. Yet, releasing these outgrown and outworn ways of being must happen in order to move into the next stage of development. Again, I feel like we have this really big message from her today, and like for the preparation of this new year, it's like clean it out, right? Like, get rid of that which does not serve you any longer. Do a ritual if you need to. Take a long ass bath if you need to. Clean your house, clean your altars. Even if you are not yourself a person who has altars, like for deities or for representing different aspects or areas of your life, you do have altars. You have your desk, right? Maybe, I don't know. But like, you have your desk or your bookshelves or your mantelpiece with these little tchotchkes on it. You have your pictures. The way that you decorate is itself an altar. The way that you hold your room is a sacred space, right? That is your private space. That is personal to you. It is sacred. And the way that you adorn yourself, even, right? That can be an altar. So expand your ideas of what an altar is when I say that. Meditating upon breathing in truth and breathing out non-truth may be helpful. Not truth may be false information, or it may be simply confusion or muddle. We don't have to know what it is or look at it. We just need to exhale the energy of not truth. It is important to look to the future, however unknown, into the unknown, however unknown or frightening, rather than trying to tug the past along with us. It may seem impossibly difficult, but the only way to reduce the pain of this process is to step forward into the future willingly. I feel like everything right now is just like, yes, Wilder, yes, this, what you are hitting on, yes, right? I almost didn't pull in the cards today for this video because I was kind of like, I have a message to share, but it's more fun this way. Teehee. Okay, so then we have Penelope the Dreamweaver, who I feel kind of speaks for herself, right? We have had this theme of dreams kind of come up in this reading. Inspiration, magical dreams, vision, weaver of dreams, bringer of visions, muse of artistic inspiration. And this card is a number 28, which is a 10, which is a 1, which is a new beginning. It's at the end of a cycle. Like, we are entering into this new stage of life and of like social change and like being. Seek visions and inspiration. Be aware that they are often subtle and require close attention. Mike the Myromancer, seeing things, the small things. Fantasies, dreams, and daydreams are all places an inspiration fairy can contact us, but she can also pop up unannounced in the midst of the most ordinary activities. In the bath, washing the dishes, driving the car, or anywhere else that our mind is half occupied and running on idle. I love that 2 cleansing activities were on there as the first examples. Pay special attention to unsought inspirations at this time. They have something wonderful to offer you, but it is up to you to catch them and bring them into reality. This is bringing up something that I like. This has come up as a theme for the past couple weeks. Is like boredom is where creativity is spawned. Boredom is when our brains start like firing in different places that they don't usually fire because we're occupied. And like, what do we do now? Like, always fighting boredom. Like, so often with the distractions, right? With the distractions. Like, I have to constantly be watching a show or having a YouTube video playing or having a podcast playing or having something going on so that I don't get bored or unstimulated. God forbid, right? And so again, we have this rest kind of coming up as a theme. I'm very tired and hungry. Just checking in. So, Epona's wild daughter here. Inner shadows, nightmare, depression, madness, growth. I love that. I love that. I've never pulled her before. Epona's wild daughter, Dorcha, is the Sphinx, whose riddles must be answered lest we otherwise be destroyed by our own internal conflicts. God, I love this reading. This is so good. Dorcha reminds us that we cannot go forward until we have faced something buried within us that is holding us back. Fuck. This is hitting. Okay. Her presence in a reading tells us that finding and working through this is a task of some urgency. We can expect help in this from other people, from the fairies, and from our dreams. But we must be open to these difficult questions and answers and be ready to face things about ourselves that are not as we would wish them to be. What have I been saying? Oh my God. She urges us to heal the unresolved issues about who we really are and what we truly want to be. This is part of the required course in Self-Transformation 101 that we are all enrolled in here on planet Earth. The answers to her riddles often come in sudden bursts of enlightenment, like the solution to a Zen koan. We may watch a leaf fall or catch a glimpse of the tiny sliver of the new moon in the sky and suddenly be hit by the answer. Before that happens, we usually work long and hard upon the question, searching and digging for an answer. The realization, when we really have it, will be transformative. We will no longer be the people that we once were. You don't like this interpretation? Well, I have been telling you all along, you and I and everyone else, we will all receive varying messages from the fairies in the cards. Yours may well differ from mine. Ask Dorcha what message she has for you, and don't be surprised if her answer is another question or riddle. She and I both wish you well in solving it with all our hearts. I love this. I love this. I love the invitation to consider your own perspective, right? And I think that also leads into what we've been talking about, right? Not just believing what we've been told, not just accepting things as they are, digging into it, looking at the minute things, looking at the characters behind the stories we're being told, and learning the truth. So lastly, we have Taiten the Sylph. And Taiten the Sylph, acute intellect, quickness, mental synthesis, and discernment. What we see here is mental quickness, adaptability, and enthusiasm. Ideas and opinions abound. A few are brilliant, but others vary from mediocre to downright silly. Be selective. Mental and psychic abilities may be awakening. Independent thinking is in operation. New ideas and new versions of old ideas are creating an exciting, effervescent atmosphere. Avoid excess and extremes. Minds may change often as new ideas and new ways of seeing bubble to the surface. Out of conflict and confusion, resolved by goodwill and clear thinking, a new and better understanding may come. The fairies said, sort your shit out, figure it out, and we're well on our way. So, that was a message. Much longer than my usual, because I was telling you all my shit, talking about whatevs. I love this. Excuse me. I'm gonna come back to this again. And I'm really excited to see what we have in store for us next week when I do another reading for the new year. I'm excited to see. And, like, maybe we can get into what you specifically need to be addressing. What area can you be focusing on? Maybe I'll do readings for the signs after this next full collective reading. Maybe you can reach out to me if you want. My email is thesharpestteeth@gmail.com, all one word. So if you're interested in like getting deep into this, because like I'm really looking forward to being surprised and opening my mind and laying to rest all these old versions of myself that no longer serve me, and all these old ways of thinking and being, and I'm scared and excited, and I'm ready to take on the challenge. So I guess it's time to get to work. Love you.